Don't bother ringing the chimes today, I'll call them in myself. Roderick, Mother Bayard, come to dinner.
And a new horse too, Roderick. I used to think that only the wicked owned 2 horses. A new horse and a new house and a new wife.
Well, Mother Bayard, how do you like it? Our first Christmas dinner in the new house, eh?
I don't know what your dear father would say.
Here, Mother Bayard, you sit in between us.
My dear Lucia, I can remember when there were still Indians on this very land, and I wasn't a young girl either. I can remember when we had to cross the Mississippi on a new-made raft. I can remember when there were still Indians in St. Louis and Kansas City.
Imagine that. There. Oh, what a beautiful day for our first Christmas dinner together. A wonderful sunny morning, snow, and such a splendid sermon. I cried and cried. Dr. McCarthy really does preach a splendid sermon.
Come, Mother Bayard, what do we have? A little sliver of white?
An everyday's twig, encircled with ice. You almost never see that. Can I help you cook that, dear? Oh, Gertrude! I forgot the jelly. You know, on the top shelf. Oh, I found your mother's gravy boat while we were moving. What was her name, dear? What were all of your names?
I was a Genevieve Wainwright, and my mother was a Faith Morrison. She was the daughter of a farmer from New Hampshire, something like a blacksmith too. And she married young John Wainwright.
Genevieve Wainwright, Faith Morrison.
Oh, it's all down in a book somewhere upstairs. All that kind of thing is very interesting. Come, Lucia, a little red wine? Mother, a little red wine. For Christmas. It's full of iron. Take a little red wine for thy stomach's sake.
Really, I can't get used to wine. I don't know what my father would say. But I suppose it's all right.
Well. I smell turkey. My dear cousins, I can't see how wonderful it is to be able to have dinner with you all. I've been out there in Alaska for so long without relatives. Tell me, Roderick, how long have you had this new house of yours?
Why, it must be something like...
5 years! It's been 5 years, children. You should keep a diary. This is your 6th Christmas dinner here.
Imagine that, Roderick. We feel as though we've lived here 20 years.
And all the house still looks as good as new.
Come, Cousin Brandon, what would you have? A little sliver of white? Frida, fill up Cousin Brandon's glass.
I still can't get used to wine. I don't know what my father would say, I'm sure. What can he have, Mother Bayard?
I can remember when there were still Indians in this very land.
Roderick, Mother Bayard doesn't tell us, but she hasn't been very well lately.
My mother was a Faith Morrison. She married young John Wainwright, who was a congregational minister.
Hadn't you better lie down, dear?
He saw in his congregation one day and he said, "I'll marry that girl." And he did, and I'm their daughter.
Just a little nap?
Oh, just go on with your dinner. I'll be all right. I was 10, and I said to him, if I one thing,
Pity such a cold, dark day today. I want to see the lamps. I spoke to Major Lewis today after church. He says his sciatica troubles him, but he does well.
I'm sorry. I can't stop thinking about Mother Bayard. She was sat here in a wheelchair only a year ago. She'd be so happy to know our good news, Roderick.
Come, Lucia, you mustn't say such things. Cousin Brandon, a glass of wine with you, sir.
A glass of wine with you, sir.
Does the Major's sciatica cause him much pain?
Some perhaps, but you know his way. There's a law with the same in 100 years.
Yes, he's a great philosopher.
Oh, his wife sends thousands of thanks for her Christmas present.
Christmas present? Forget what I gave her. Oh, yes, the work basket. Oh, my baby! A wonderful new baby! Quick, nurse, boy or a girl? A boy? Roderick, what shall we call him?
We'll call him Charles, after your father and grandfather.
There are no Charles Charles is in the Bible, Roderick.
Oh, of course there are. Surely there are.
Roderick, fine, Charles it is, but it'll always be a Samuel to me. Oh, look at his hands, nurse, what miraculous hands he has. Really, they must be the most beautiful hands in the whole world. Sleep time, my treasure.
And don't drop him, nurse, because Brandon and I need him in our firm. Come, Lucia. A little sliver of white. Some stuffing there. Cranberry sauce, anybody?
Margaret, this stuffing really is good today. Just a little thank you.
And something to wash it all down. Because Brandon, might I propose a toast? To the ladies. God bless them.
Thank you, kind sirs.
It's a pity such an overcast day today. No snow.
Oh, but it was such a lovely sermon. I cried and cried. Dr. Spalding really does preach a splendid sermon.
I saw Major Lewis for a moment today after church. He says that his rheumatism troubles him greatly. But his wife says that she has a birthday present for Charles and she'll bring it over in the afternoon.
My new baby! Let me see her, nurse, let me see her. Oh, and a girl! Oh, really, you've never seen such a perfect baby in the whole world.
Now, call her whatever you want. It's your turn.
Yes, I'll have it my way this time. She should be called Genevieve after your mother. Sleep tight, darling. Imagine, one day she'll be grown up and she'll say, "Good morning, mother. Good morning, father." Really, Cousin Brandon, you don't see a child like that every day.
And a new factory.
A new factory? Roderick, he never told me anything about a new factory. You know, I should be very uncomfortable if we turn out to be rich. I've been dreading that for years. But it's Christmas Day, and we mustn't talk about such things. And besides, Charles is destined for the ministry.
You listen here, woman. He's only 12. Let him keep an open mind. Now, Cousin Brandon and I want him in our firm. I don't mind saying that. Besides, there's no time that passes as slowly as when you're waiting for your urchins to grow up and settle down to business.
I don't want time to go any faster, thank you. I love the children just the way they are. Really? Roderick, do you know what the doctor said? 1 glass per meal. No, Josephine, that'll be all, thank you.
Now, I wonder what's the matter.
Roderick, do be reasonable.
No, but my dear, statistics show that we, steady, modern... Oh.
Roderick? My dear! What?
Well, it's so good to be back at the table with you all again. How many good Christmas dinners have I had to miss upstairs? And to be back on such a fine one too.
Oh dear, you really did give us an alarming time. Here's your glass of milk. Josephine, bring Mr. Bayard's medicine. From the cupboard in the library.
In any event, now that I'm better, I'm going to start doing something about this house.
Roderick, you're not going to change the house.
Only touches up here and there. It looks as if it were 100 years old.
Charles, you carved the turkey this year, dear. Your father's not well. What? You always said you hated carving. You are so clever at it.
It's a great blowing morning, Mother. The wind comes over the hill like a can.
Oh, but it was such a good sermon. I cried and cried. Mother Bayard, she used to love a good sermon. And Christmas songs too. She'd sing them all year round. Dear, oh dear, I've been thinking about her all morning.
Come, Lucia, you mustn't say such things. You can't be depressed. It's Christmas.
But sad things aren't the same as depressing things. I must be getting old. I like them.
Uncle Brandon, you haven't had anything to eat. Let's have your plate. And some cranberry sauce.
Every leaf twig is encircled with ice. You almost never get that.
Genevieve, did you have time to deliver the presents after church day?
Yes, Mama. Old Mrs. Lou sends you 1,000 thanks for hers. It was just what she wanted, she said. Give me lots, Charles, lots.
Statistics, ladies and gentlemen, show that we, steady, moderate drinkers.
How about a little skating this afternoon, Father?
I'll live till I'm 90.
I don't think you ought to go skating.
Wait. But... not yet.
He was so young. So clever, Cousin Brandon. I said he was so young and so clever. Don't forget your father, children. He was a good man. But we mustn't grieve today. It's Christmas. He wouldn't want that.
Why so dark, Genevieve? Just another sliver, maybe.
I can remember our first Christmas dinner in this house. Must have been 25 years ago today. Mother Bayard was sat here in a wheelchair, and she was telling us some story about how Indians used to live on the land, and how she had to cross a raft on a new-made river.
That can't be true.
It certainly was true. Even I can remember when there was only one paved street. We were perfectly happy to walk on boards. We can remember when there were no sidewalks, can't we, Cousin Brandon?
Oh yes, and those were the days.
Those were the days.
And the ball last night, Genevieve, did you have a good time? I hope you didn't waltz, dear. I think a girl in our position ought to be setting an example. Did Charles keep an eye on you?
He had none left. They were all on Leonora Banning. He can't concede it any longer, Mother. I think Charles is engaged to marry Leonora Banning.
I'm not engaged to marry anyone.
Well, she's very pretty.
I shall never marry, Mother. I shall sit beside you in this house forever, as though life were one long happy Christmas dinner.
Oh, my child, you mustn't say such things.
You don't want me. You don't want me. Why, Mother, how silly you are. There's nothing sad about that. What could possibly be sad about that?
Forgive me. I'm unpredictable is all.
Good morning, Mother Bayard. Good morning, everybody. Really is a splendid Christmas day today.
Little white meat. Mother, Genevieve, Leonora,
Every leaf twig is encircled with ice.
Uncle Brandon, another. Roger's Philip, my uncle's
No,
class.
no, no. Do what your father used to do. It would please Cousin Brandon, so... You know. Uncle Brandon, a glass of wine with you.
Uncle Brandon, a glass of wine with you, sir. A glass of wine with you, sir. To ladies. God bless them all.
Thank you.
And if I go to Germany for my music, I promise to be back for Christmas. I wouldn't miss that.
My dear, I hate to think of you over there, all alone in one of those strange pensions.
But darling, the time will pass with you. I'll hardly know I'm gone. I'll be back in the twinkling of an eye.
Oh, what an angel! The darlingest baby in the world. Oh, do let me hold it, nurse! Oh, I did love it so.
Isn't there anything I can do?
No, my dear. Only time. Only the passing of time can help in these things. I was thinking of asking Cousin Ermengarde to come and live with us. There's plenty for everybody, and she wouldn't be in the way. She can't go on teaching the first grade forever. Wouldn't be a problem, would it, Charles?
No, I think that'll be fine. A little more potato and gravy, anybody? It was great to be back in Alaska. Back in those days.
Mother, what is...
class. Hold fast to your music, you know. No, I'd like to be alone for a few minutes.
If the Republicans had collected their votes, rather than going off into cliques amongst themselves, they may have prevented him getting a second term.
Charles! Mother doesn't tell us, but she hasn't been very well these days.
Come, Mother. We'll go to Florida for a few weeks.
Don't be foolish. Don't grieve.
Oh, my darling! Twins? No. Charles, aren't they glorious? Look at them. Look at them!
What will I do? What's left for me to do?
Which is which?
I feel as though I were the first mother who ever had twins. No. Look at them now. Why wasn't Mother Bayard allowed to stay in Stephen?
I don't want to go anymore. I can't bear it.
But Genevieve, how frightful your mother would feel to think. Genevieve!
I never told her how wonderful she was. We all just treated her like another friend in the house. I thought she'd be here forever.
Genevieve, darling, do come one moment and hold my baby's hands. We shall call the girl Lucia after her grandmother. Will that please you? Do you just see what adorable little hands they have?
They are wonderful, Leonora.
Give him your finger, darling. Just let him hold it.
And we'll call the boy Samuel. Now everybody come and finish your dinners. Don't drop the nurse, at least don't drop the boy when eating the fur.
Someday they'll be big. Imagine, he'll come in and say, "Hello, Mother."
Little wine, Genevieve, Leonora? Full of iron. Certainly is a keen cold morning. I used to go skating with Father on mornings like this. Mother would come back from church
I
saying,
know, saying, such a splendid sun. I cried.
Why did she cry, dear?
That generation all cried at sermons.
Pretty
It was
Genevieve.
their way. Yes, I guess they had had to go since they were very young. And the sermons just reminded them of their mothers and fathers, like Christmas dinners to us. Especially in an old house like this.
It is pretty old, Charles, and so ugly with all that ironwork filigree and that dreadful cupola.
Charles, you aren't going to change the house.
No, I won't give up the house. But great heavens, it's 50 years old. This spring, we'll remove the cupola and build a new wing towards the tennis courts.
And then couldn't we invite your dear old cousin Ermengarde to come and stay with us? She's really the self-effacing kind.
Ask her now. Take her out of the first grade.
We only seem to think of it on Christmas Day with our Christmas cards staring us in the face.
Another boy? Another boy. Here's a Roderick for you at last.
Roderick Brandon Bayard, a regular little fighter.
Goodbye, darling. Don't grow up too fast. Stay just as you are. Thank you, nurse.
Stay just as you are.
Now I have 3 children. 1, 2, 3. 2 boys and a girl. I'm collecting them. It's very exciting. Oh, what is it, Hilda? Oh, look, Cousin Ermengarde's come. Come in, cousin. It's such a pleasure to be with you all.
The twins have taken a great fancy to you already, cousin.
Baby went to her at once.
Now, exactly how are we related, Cousin Ermengarde? There, Genevieve, that's your specialty. But first, a little more turkey and stuffing, Mother. Cranberry sauce, anybody?
Grandmother Bayard was your
grandmother Bayard was a second cousin of my grandmother Haskins, to the Wainwrights.
Oh, it's all in a book somewhere upstairs. All that kind of thing is awfully interesting.
nonsense. There are no such books. I collect all my notes off gravestones, and let me tell you, you have to scrape a good deal of moss to find one great-grandparent.
There is a story that my grandmother Bayard crossed the Mississippi in a new-made raft before there were any bridges or ferry boats. She died before Genevieve or I were born. How fast time flies in a great new country like this.
Yes. Time must be passing very slowly in Europe with this dreadful, dreadful war going on.
An occasional war isn't so bad after all, I suppose. Clears up a lot of poisons that collect in nations. It's like a boil.
Dear, oh dear.
Yes, it's like a boil! Oh, here are your twins.
Wasn't he wonderful in it, Mother?
Let's get a look at you, Mother.
Don't let Roderick ruin my stamp album while I'm gone.
Now, Sam, do write a letter once in a while. Do be a good boy about that.
Yes, I know. Ah, there's another guy. Maybe send me some of those cakes for yours once in a while.
I certainly will, my dear boy.
Oh, and if you're in need of any money, we have agents in Paris and London, remember?
Yes, I know. Well, goodbye.
Everybody spoke of it. Oh, our stained glass windows looked so beautiful and all so... Everybody spoke so affectionately of Sammy. Oh, forgive me, Lenore, but it's better to speak of him than not. Why, we're all thinking of him so hard. He was a mere boy, Charles. He was a mere boy!
My dear.
To tell him how wonderful he was. We let go of him so casually. I want to tell him how we all feel about him. Oh, forgive me. Yes, of course, Bernard. It's best to speak of him. Isn't there anything I can do?
No. Only time. Only the passing of time can help these things.
What's the matter anyway? What he was so glum about was skating was fine today.
Sit down, young man. I have something to say to you.
Everybody was there. Lucia skated in the corner with Dan Creighton the whole time. When let be, Lucia. When let be.
Don't know what you mean.
Lucia's leaving us soon, Mother. Dan Creighton of all people.
Roderick! I have something to say to you.
Yes, Father?
Is it true, Roderick, that you made yourself conspicuous last night at the country club? At the Christmas Eve dance, too?
Now, Charles, I beg of you. This is Christmas dinner.
No, I didn't.
Oh, really, Father, he didn't. It was that dreadful Johnny Lewis.
I don't want to hear about Johnny Lewis. I want to know whether a son of mine,
Charles, I beg
the
of
first
you.
family in this city,
I hate this town and everything about it. I always
you
did.
behave like a spoiled puppy, son. Ill-bred, spoiled puppy.
What did I do? What did I do that was wrong?
You were drunk and you were rude to the daughters of my best friend.
Nothing in the world deserves an ugly scene like this. Charles, I'm ashamed of you.
My gosh, you're gonna get drunk in this town to forget. Forget how dull this is. Time passes so slowly here, it stands still. That's what's the trouble.
Well, young man, we can employ your time. You'll leave the university and come into the bear factory on January 2nd.
I have better things to do with my time than going to your old factory. I'm going somewhere where time passes! My God.
Roderick! Roderick, come here just a moment. Charles, where can he go.
Mother, he'll come back. Now I have to go upstairs and pack my trunk.
I don't have any children left.
Mother, he'll come back. Oh, he's only gone to California or somewhere. It won't be long.
Beautiful day. On my way home from church, I stopped and saw Mrs. Foster a moment. Her arthritis comes and goes.
Is she actually in pain, dear?
Oh, she says it'll all be the same in 100 years.
She's a brave little stoic.
Come now. Little white meat, mother.
Oh, what is it, Mary? Oh, look, here's a telegram from them in Paris. Love and Christmas greetings to all. Oh, I told them we'd be thinking about them and eating some of the wedding cake today. Seems to be all decided that they'll settle down in the east, oh my God. Can't even have my own daughter for a neighbour. They hope to build long before somewhere, on the shore north of New York.
There is no shore north of New York.
Well, east or west, or whatever it is.
My, what a dark day. Slowly time passes when there aren't any young people in the house.
I have 3 children somewhere.
Well, one of them gave his life for his country.
One of them selling aluminium in China.
I can stand everything, but this terrible soot everywhere. We should have moved long ago. We're surrounded by factories. We have to change the window curtains every week.
Genevieve!
I can't stand it. I can't stand it anymore. I'm going abroad. It's not only the soot, it's also the very walls of this house. It's the thoughts. The thought of what has been and what might have been here. And the feeling of this house, of the years grinding away. My mother died 25 years ago, like yesterday. Oh, I'm going to live and die abroad. Yes, I'm going to be the old American maid living in a pension in Munich or Florence.
Genevieve, you're tired.
Come, Genevieve, take a good glass of cold water. Mary, open the window a minute.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dear Genevieve, will come back to us. I think. You should have been out there today, Lenora. It's one of those days when everything was encircled with ice. Very pretty indeed.
Leonora, I used to go skating with Father on mornings like this. I do wish I felt a little better.
What? Have I got you invalids on my hands at once? No, Cousin Norman, God, you must get better and help me nurse Charles.
I'll do my best.
Well, Leonora, I'll do as you ask. I'll write the puppy a letter of forgiveness and apology. It's Christmas Day after all. I'll cable it. That's what I'll do.
Oh my God, it's such a pleasure having you here with me. Mary, I really can't eat anything.
I spoke to Mrs. Keene for a moment coming out of church. She asked after the young people. At church I felt very proud of Nora sitting in our windows and our brass tablets. The Bayard Isle. It's a regular Bayard Isle, I love it.
Ermengarde, would you be very angry with me if I went and stayed with the young people a little this spring?
Why no, of course. I know how badly they want and need you, especially now they're about to build a new house.
You wouldn't be angry. This house is yours as long as you want it, remember.
I don't see why the rest of you dislike it. I like it more than I can say.
I won't be long. back in no time, and we can have some more of our readings aloud in the evening.
Really, Mary, I'll change my mind. You asked Bertha to be good enough to make me a little eggnog. A dear little eggnog. Such a nice letter this morning, Mary, from Mrs. Bayard. They're having their first Christmas dinner in the new house. They must be very happy. They call her Mother Bayard, she says, as though she were an old lady. And she says she finds it more comfortable to come and go in a wheelchair. Such a nice letter. And Mary, I can tell you a secret. It's still a great secret, mind. They're having their first grandchild. Isn't that good news? No, I'll read a letter.